get anything done. Now, I'm looking at y'all here. I'm seeing a lot of y'all breaking orders, telling your state to go truck themselves, whatever. But this is a time of crisis, not a time for wussies. And if you're a wuss, you're going to have some really hard challenges to take on in the next days and weeks. And for those of you who are not wusses, for those of y'all who are like me and like my fellow trucker brothers out here and are starting to get tough, I want to encourage y'all to do that. And there's a level of toughness that we all need to band together to achieve. And it's an unprecedented level that's never been experienced before by any group. So, I intend this not only for rookie drivers and for the more experienced ones, but for anyone who's finding themselves in dire straits right now. We will power through this. We will have to take extraordinary measures. But in the end, it's going to be better for all of us. So stay tuned, and I want to talk about this. Dear friends and followers, this is a trying time. I'm upset, I'm frustrated, I'm scared. And I'm not the only one. Because things are getting tougher by the day. Places continue to close down. Entire states are now beginning to close. And when I say beginning to close, I'm not just talking the non-essential leisure stuff anymore. State parks in Texas just closed, and they're the last things to close before the essential services do in times of crisis. And other states are following suit as well. So if you're a trucker brother and you follow my channel, which I know there ain't that many of you, I've only got 30 followers right now. I am scared, nervous, and concerned about what's going on. I'm sorry that I even brought up gender a few episodes ago. Specifically talking about a woman who was driving aggressively for a TV commercial. And I know you're going to pour on the hate on that episode. And speaking of the hate, my hate index right now is about 35%. That is, every time someone gives me a thumbs down on a video, it counts towards what I like to call the hate index. Here on YouTube, they call it likes versus dislikes. 65 to 35 is the stand right now. 65 likes, 35 dislikes. I figure that may help boost my search results for a little bit, but I'm seeing that the going's getting tough. And not just on my YouTube channel, but in reality as well. Currently, as it stands, I've had coworkers get sick. I've had friends who have had big-time issues with their own lives, and they keep on saving their problems from me and telling me about them on the phone. And I'd really like that to continue. Now, these friends have my primary phone number, which I use for business purposes, which is not the wine line that I mentioned on the channel. So, and speaking of that wine line, I have yet to receive a single phone call or voicemail from you people here on YouTube. And I really, really need your feedback right now on what I can do to improve my channel. Because in the end, we're all in this together. I also want to talk with y'all about one thing that I just saw this morning on my Facebook. And it was the brother of the New York governor. It was that guy from CNN who happened to get the virus and was stuck at home for a while. And continuing to host his show. Well, a lot of people are working from home these days. It's not just him. But I really see that he's showing some strength and resolve and toughness that many people are lacking right now. So, Mr. Cuomo from CNN, I appreciate you sharing your story on Facebook, because it really is encouraging to see anyone survive a crisis like that and be able to bounce back. Now, with all the stuff I've had to overcome so far myself, my diabetes, my allergic asthma, or it's now my doctor's officially diagnosed it as a year-round allergy to mold, and my issues with my blood pressure, cholesterol, and other stuff that's caused partly by this job and partly by my genetics. And yeah, I do need to keep my hand away from my face, by the way, but I have washed and sanitized these. I'm all right for now. I want to say this. When the going gets tough, the tough get going. Now more than ever, we need a band of brothers. We need friends who we can start leaning the shoulder onto. Somebody who's just a phone call away to talk to. Because in the end, that's what it's coming down to. As the days get longer and things start looking brighter outside, now I realize we're in a situation that's almost truly unprecedented with the exception of wartime. And that's because we're having to declare war on this particular virus. And seeing the interstates not even having that many cars on them at night anymore, and even in the daytime, we're starting to see the effects. Pollution's clearing up, traffic patterns are changing by the second. I have never seen roads this dead before. And I have attributed a lot of it to a lot of y'all following the advice of your local officials and staying home. And for that, I do have something to appreciate right now. Also, I appreciate those of y'all who are taking advantage of having their curbside, delivery, and other options for the grocery stores and for the other essential businesses that are still open. Because those are far safer options than trying to expose yourself in a dining hall full of people. And lastly, I appreciate the fact that I've still been able to get some groceries that I can bring on board my truck. Not many companies allow that. right out here. And a lot of the bigger OTR companies don't even put a fridge in their trucks. Instead, telling people you're on your own. Or you gotta buy a cheap Coleman or whatever. I do get some of these options on these trucks are expensive. But in a time of crisis like right now, they're proving to be invaluable. So for any company who does what my company does, inspects things like fridges and accessory outlets on here, I've come to appreciate those conveniences now more than ever. Let me give you a view of what's going on out my sleeper window here, just so you can see how dead these roads are now. There's still a few cars out here, but I'm going to have to show this to you. And until next time, let's make your best trip your next trip by making sure that we stand together. Keep learning, keep thinking, and keep doing what you need to do. Bye for now. This is Interstate 81. I'm sorry, Interstate 40 on the east side of Knoxville, Tennessee. And as you can see, this road should be halfway jammed right now. It's nowhere near that. I mean, I see a lot of fellow truckers out here, but I only see a few cars.